Who is the Snyder Cut's secret hero cameo?
It's classified.
Sean and I are going to discuss a bunch of different theories right now. Hey everybody, it's Hannah Saulic, the head of video here at CinemaBlend, with our managing editor and author of the Release the Snyder Cut book, Sean O'Connell, and we are here today to do some fun speculation.
We are. I assume we're going to get a lot of news regarding the Snyder Cut between now and when the film drops on HBO Max.
I thought you were going to say between now and when we post this video, and I was about to be like, fair.
Well, that might actually be the case too. And some of it's going to be like things people want to avoid, right? Because it's surprises that they want to know what's going to be in this 4-hour cut of the movie. But Zack dropped something inside of the lengthy Vanity Fair story that Anthony Brezikin did, and it regarded a hero cameo that he included in the reshoots. And so we figured we would speculate on who we think it might be.
Here's the truth.
So IO9 came out and said, like, we figured out who it was, or a source told us who it was. And we'll talk about that when we get to the person who they included. Also, so I guess we should kind of say, like,
well, yeah, so should I...
Spoilers, right?
Yeah, I guess if you don't, like, it's like a fan theory, you know, they could be right, they could be wrong. So if you don't want to know, you know, we're not claiming to know anything, we literally don't know.
We literally don't know.
I'm just speculating.
So should I, let me just read what the Vanity Fair article said, because I think that gives some context and then kind of helps explain why I'm a little bit skeptical of this IO9 article. So the sentence says, Snyder has reshot the ending with a hero cameo that will blow hardcore fans' minds. And that's not like a quote, that's just in the article. So Zack did not literally say those words to our knowledge. So, should we dive into...
about that. Yeah, hold on. I'm intrigued about that for the first half of that sentence more than I am the back half, although the back half is interesting. But we have talked at length about how the ending of the movie, if it's still the cut that's coming in 2017, would have an open-ended ending, which was going to tease Justice League Part 2, which Zack was planning at the time. And we had talked a bit about how fans should be prepared for the fact that you might get a resolution in the Snyder Cut that leads to nowhere.
What?
Not that cul-de-sac comment that was made earlier, but at least something that like sets up, here's a promise of something really cool. We might not get it.
Careful.
So the idea that he reshot something to include in the ending is really fascinating to me, because it means that he is thinking about that and figuring out how he's going to either put a button on this or set up a tease for something that maybe he has up his sleeve. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe both. Okay, so let's talk about our first theory as to who this secret cameo is, and it is Martian Manhunter.
Hey!
That is who the IO9 article claims to know for a fact is who this Vanity Fair article is referencing.
Yep.
What's your source on this?
Sean, do you want to talk about why that's maybe not as concrete as IO9 think?
Well, it's interesting because I think it makes sense and it doesn't make sense for a couple different reasons. One, Martian Manhunter would not be a cameo that would blow people's minds, diehard fans' minds, because if they're diehard fans, then they know that Martian Manhunter's in this movie anyway. Yeah. Zack has shared that in storyboards. Harry Lennox has talked about it at length. So the argument then is that, oh, well, when it was mentioned in the Vanity Fair article, that was for casual fans who haven't been paying attention every step of the way. And maybe that's the case. Like, maybe when they wrote the piece, they were like, okay, well, this is going to be for mainstream crowds, and you might not know the Martian Manhunter's going to be in it. But I think Zack is pretty savvy enough to at least be like, you know, if I'm going to tease the fact that I reshot a hero cameo, and it's going to include something that's going to blow fans' minds, then it's not the obvious. And the obvious right now is Martian Manhunter.
It specifically says blow hardcore fans' minds. So it's not even like satisfy hardcore fans, you know?
Yeah, because again, like, a hardcore fan would almost expect Martian Manhunter to be there because he's a member of the League. So for him to show up, yeah, it would be cool. But I mean, even like this week, Jim Lee was doing these variant covers for Justice League, you know, the comics, and was including the Snyder-ish versions of the characters and the heroes, and Martian Manhunter was one of them. So I think it's pretty common knowledge.
And that fan theory's been around for a while, too, because Harry Lennox has been in Man of Steel, he's been in BBS, like, this is not some new thing.
No, I think casual fan at least understands that Martian Manhunter is showing up in this film.
You're treating me like a stranger?
And the IO9 piece was kind of just like they think that's what it is, and they were a little bit saying just like, hey, dial back your expectations because you might be speculating. And granted, fans, as we will get to a lightning round at the end of this thing, fans hit social media and they're pulling things from all over the place of like, it's gonna
but
be
it's
this,
so
it's
much
gonna be that.
fun. I love fan theories.
It's fun, but in a way it's dangerous because, to use my beloved Spider-Man as an example, if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield don't show up in Spider-Man 3, a lot of fans are going to be upset.
Do not tell me to relax.
And it's not the fault of the movie. The movie never said they're going to be in it. So, you know, sometimes fan speculation gets out of control, and fans
But I think
come
if fans
to
know
think,
that, though, and they're like just having fun and have that expectation, it's fine. But I do see what you're saying.
You guys are losers.
So the second big theory is that Green Lantern is the secret cameo. And so Ryan Reynolds immediately, I don't know if it was immediately, but it was pretty closely after this Vanity Fair article was released, he tweeted out something that denied that his Green Lantern was the secret hero cameo. But a lot of people think that it could be Jon Stewart.
Okay. Yeah. I tend to believe that it's going to be a lantern of some sort. Because that's been a rumor for a long time. I wish I was wearing something of it right now, but the Justice League marketing that Zack has been behind has the logos of the heroes, and it includes a lantern. You know, like, I think he would like to have a Green Lantern in here, and I think that he could have reshot it to include a hero shot that teased out the appearance of a Green Lantern. And it might be Jon Stewart, it could be Hal Jordan. It's definitely not Ryan Reynolds. Like, I don't think Ryan Reynolds even tweeted that to, like, throw us off the scent.
George Michael was right. I'm never gonna dance again.
I also don't think Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, like, stuff is the same tone at all of Zack Snyder's stuff.
No.
Like, if you were to tell me, like, Green Lantern, like, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern might show up in, like, Shazam 2, I might be more inclined to believe you, but not in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Correct, yes. And so that always felt like stunt casting in a Justice League movie that Zack, you know, he's getting a chance to finish something that he's been holding on to forever. I don't think he's going to include that. However, here's why I'm leaning towards this is my choice as to who it's going to be. HBO Max has this Green Lantern series that's going to start filming in April. And if Zack reshot this hero cameo specifically, you know, to be at the end of his film, I could see it being a tease for what's coming next on HBO Max. And this is when we talk about, you know, we don't know Zack's plans or what he has up his sleeve. If he has conversations behind the scenes with HBO Max in place already, where he's talking about, you know, I would like to continue my Snyderverse here on HBO Max, and the next thing you have coming is a Green Lantern series, I'll reshoot an inclusion of a lantern that you're going to focus on, and we'll drop it into the Snyder Cut, and then this will feed right into your Green Lantern series. Now, here's where this is me being a fan speculating. Maybe that's not going to happen.
Well, I was going to say really quickly, too, like when that New York Times article came out, Hamada was saying that every movie is going to have a corresponding series. And we talked a little bit about, like, what is the Green Lantern series relating to? So,
right,
interesting.
Yes. So those two things make sense to me. We know that a Green Lantern show is coming. It's about to go into filming in April, according to reports that we just saw. And here's the Snyder Cut dropping in March. So maybe they'll be the bridge.
Do we know anything about who the characters are supposed to be in this Green Lantern show? Like, have they said, is it Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart, or have they not?
I don't think they have. And I know people who are watching this video are going to be mad because I'm pretty sure Jeff Johns is responsible for what's happening in the Green Lantern show.
Ew.
So I don't know. Like, that alone could shoot this theory down.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Snyder wants to work with Jeff Johns anymore.
Do you blame him?
No, I can't. But I also don't know fully how involved Jeff Johns is in the Green Lantern show. Also, like, there's a lot of mystery going on in terms of the details of that. But we'll figure out as we get going.
Like, that's a pretty solid fan theory, though.
I still think I'm putting my money down on the fact that it's a lantern. That it is a Green Lantern, and that fans will be blown away to finally see a Snyderverse version of Green Lantern.
Because the Green Lantern, like, piece is really what's missing from the Justice League. And so if Zack really wanted to have this be, like, his, like, full Justice League, I could see that for sure.
Okay, let's transition into one that's starting to get a little bit fun, and I can actually make a case to justify this one as well, too. People on social media are saying that it could be Carrie Kelley, and that is exciting for a lot of different reasons. I I don't think it's going to be Carrie Kelley. Carrie Kelley is another ward of Batman. She essentially is a Robin, and she takes place in a comic book storyline called The Dark Knight Returns, which Zack Snyder is a tremendous, tremendous fan of. And it has an older Bruce Wayne, of which Ben Affleck is, and so in a way it would kind of make sense. I also do think that you can include Carrie Kelley as a cameo at the end of Justice League, because that would show some emotional maturation of Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. Like, here he is moving on from the loss of Robin, kind of accepting his role in the death of the Robin that we saw, die in what we didn't see, but we know that died in Snyder's version of it. And he's opening himself up to a new ward and potentially going off to train, and maybe even then setting up the idea that Zack has said he could want to do his own adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns down the line. So, also, one last thing. Jenna Malone was an actress who was cast in BVS and had scenes in the Ultimate Edition. And at the time when she was cast, there were a lot of people who were like, ooh, she's going to become Carrie Kelley.
And this is what makes you such a good reporter.
I think it would be pretty mind-blowing if you're a Snyder fan if Jenna Malone filmed a cameo as Carrie Kelley and was going to be opposite Ben Affleck's Batman in stories moving forward, whether we get to see them or not. So
also something too, so I kind of did like some crowdsourcing just because I was curious to see what all the fans were talking about, and a lot of people replied and said Carrie Kelley, but somebody sent me, and I'll put their username up here to give them credit, but somebody sent me a screenshot of what I believe is a deleted comment on a post from Zack Snyder's Vero.
Okay.
Where they asked Zack, basically, is there a plan to bring Dick Grayson back, or is he meant to stay dead? And then Zack replied, stay dead, ... till Carrie.
Oh.
If he said that and then deleted it, and then he's been spending so much time thinking about, like, like you talked about the Batman, Robin, Joker kind of like backstory spinoff that he wanted to do. I'm like, he's spending a lot of time thinking about being in that world, that something along the lines of like a Dick Grayson or a Carrie Kelley makes them, that's the most intriguing to me. I'm not going to say makes the most sense because I haven't seen the Snyder Cut. But
I'll even take it one step forward. One of the stories that we heard this week leading up to us recording is that Zack wanted to include a storyline where Bruce almost fell in love with Lois Lane.
Yeah, I saw that.
She was the thirstiest young woman he ever met.
And you took her from me.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Can we?
He says, I think he has a scene with Alfred, I don't know if they ever filmed it, where he says, I've only lived my life in this cave. She at least shows me that there's a path forward. Maybe I could potentially have a life with her, kind of thing.
In your dreams, Alfred.
So Zack feels, it sounds like, that he's looking for an emotional evolution for Batman. Mm-hmm. And if he can't do it with Lois Lane, if it can't come together with that relationship explored, I could see him at least saying, okay, I'm going to take someone else new under my wing, and that's the way forward for Bruce Wayne. And then Carrie Kelley would make a lot of sense.
I would love to see that. I just think that element of it is so interesting. Like, even since The Dark Knight Rises, like when, they just tease it at the end when like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, picks up the gear, but it's like, I want it, like we haven't seen that story and I want to see it. So and
Nightwing too, who Dick Grayson goes on to become, is a great character who has not been explored in DC live action. A little bit in Titans, you're starting to see it on the TV side, but Nightwing is a character who I would love to see get his due on the big screen. And
that'd be cool.
I don't know, we shall see.
So those are kind of like the big three main fan theories. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a little speed round where I am going to just like throw names at you that have been suggested to me largely from Twitter. So thank you everybody who responded. And then I just want you to give me like your gut reaction, like a few sentences, if you think that's plausible or if you like it, whatever.
Okay, sounds good. Right.
All right. So the first
Nightwing is one of them too, isn't he?
Yes, I guess I can skip that one unless you have more to
we
say.
can skip him because it won't be Nightwing because he would have need to have been established. Like, I think it'd be cool, but we need some more setup before Nightwing just sort of shows up at the end of the Snyder Cut. So
what's next?
Michael Keaton's Batman.
Oh yeah, okay, that would be mind blowing, but it's definitely not happening.
Why do you say definitely?
Because I just don't see Keaton coming back, right now, to set up a Flash movie. Like, if they're going to reveal Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, they're going to save that for the Flash movie. Mm-hmm. It'd be great. all that you're going to suggest, I'm sure would be really, really great. But Warner Brothers, which is behind the Flash movie, is absolutely not going to let Zack Snyder.
And the other thing too is like everybody knows who Michael Keaton's Batman is, and that's not really going to like blow hardcore fans' minds. And maybe I'm taking that quote like way too literally. It's not even a quote. The line from the article way too literally. But I agree. I don't.
Also, we can't get to Michael Keaton's Batman until we get to the multiverse, and we're not getting to the multiverse yet. So
that would be a lot to cover.
Too much.
What's next?
Black Canary.
Okay. That I could kind of see a little bit. If we've established that Birds of Prey takes place in the Gotham of the Snyderverse, and Black Canary is a popular character coming out of Birds of Prey, probably second most to Harley, I would think. A lot of people are asking for her to get some sort of continuation and show up in other films. That could be cool.
So cool.
A lot of these, because they are because it's a reshot cameo, it's something that Zack filmed additionally to include for a reason. I have to until we know what the reason is, it's hard to really speculate. If they know some potential plan for Black Canary as a character, then yes, that could be really cool. She's a little bit odd to not include with the rest of the Birds of Prey, or in some other team fashion. So I don't think that's likely. But I guess it's possible. Yes, I'll say possible.
Ooh, I love it.
What's next?
Supergirl. A lot of people think it's Supergirl.
The only reason why I would buy into that is because she just got cast, right? And so did they confirm her casting? We don't know when that video was
That's what
filmed.
I was going to ask. I was like, when was that video shot?
Right. Muschietti could have filmed that a month ago. And they released it now so that people would kind of know who she is. But again, you're talking about a character who is going to have their debut, theoretically, in the Flash movie, and I don't think Warner Brothers is going to let Zack cameo anybody who's going to be significant to a DC project happening on the theatrical side.
What's next?
Black Adam.
For the same reason. Also, he just doesn't fit into what they're trying to do here. Like, he's got so much more connection to Shazam and even Superman to a certain extent. But no, that's not going to happen.
What's next?
Hawkgirl or Hawkman?
Possible. But I don't see why you would do either of them before you did Lantern. Like, you have to introduce... The Green Lantern is a significant part of the Justice League. Hawkgirl and Hawkman have been significant members over the years, but you wouldn't introduce them before you'd introduce somebody from the Green Lantern Corps. So I would say that they would come much later. Also because Aldous Hodge, I believe, has been cast as Hawkman in Black Adam. So no, he'll be saved till later. He'll definitely be saved till later.
What's next?
Thomas Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, I like this one. Okay. I think that would be cool because Jeffrey Dean Morgan played Thomas Wayne in BVS. And obviously in the Flashpoint series, in the storyline, Thomas Wayne went on to become Batman in an alternate reality where Bruce is the one who got shot outside the alley instead. And Thomas Wayne becomes Batman and Martha Wayne becomes Joker. Great alternate timeline. And Zack loves Jeffrey Dean Morgan and has said on record, like, it's kind of dumb that they're doing Flashpoint and they're not casting Jeffrey Dean Morgan and using him as Thomas Wayne. So that cameo would be amazing if Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who again, loves Zack loves him, if he came in and shot in a day in the suit and showed up as alternate timeline Batman.
Well, so does that go back to the same issue, though, that we were talking about with Michael Keaton's Batman of, like, establishing a multiverse?
Yes. However, I'll allow this much. Flash is going to be time traveling throughout Snyder Cut, right? So he's going to be manipulating the timeline and accessing the multiverse in some way. Like, you could come in at the end of Justice League or the 4-hour Snyder Cut.
You just hooked me. You just got me on board for this.
Well, because, they're going to want to do something in the Flash movie.
Ezra Miller did do additional photography.
Yes, he did. And I haven't seen him in the Nightmare yet, right? So what if he opens up some timeline where Zack was like, this is what my Flashpoint would have been, and you see Thomas Wayne show up.
That would be really cool. I feel like that satisfies all of the criteria that has been teased so far.
Yeah. Probably not happening, but I like that one a lot.
Yeah, before we started this video, I was like, no. But yeah, you just completely sold me.
What's next?
Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, that would just be Zack saying that, like, this is my dream project. I'm going to put anything into it, whether it makes sense or not. You know, there's comic book continuity that exists that shows that Dr. Manhattan could cross over into the DC universe. And obviously Zack directed Watchmen, and it's not happening. It'd be really cool. It'd be cool, and obviously I think
that's
Zack has
lower
said,
on the list of likelihood.
only because I think Zack has said his favorite comic book character of all time is Dr. Manhattan. And so if given a chance to put him into the Snyder Cut in any way that makes sense, I could see Zack like staying up at night sort of figuring out like, how could I get him in? Is there a way for me to get him in? But it would be really confusing. It'd be really confusing.
Okay.
So probably not. No, probably not.
What's next?
Booster Gold.
Okay, normally I would have said no. But they just announced a Booster Gold movie that's potentially happening. So again, you could use it as a way to sort of introduce the character and set up who it is. But we're assuming that all this stuff is going to kind of happen in the final minutes of the film. And if you're going to introduce a character as being like, here's this new person, I think they have to have some sort of brand awareness at least to them. And no one knows who Booster Gold is. DC fans kind of know. But like...
Hardcore fans know.
Hardcore fans would know. If he were just to show up...
Would that blow your mind then?
No. No, not necessarily. Okay. I wish that was a Zack quote and not a paraphrase.
Because we'd be able to better speculate.
What's next?
People were suggesting various new gods, which would also make sense if the ending to be what we know is opening up some sort of boom tube and getting into space a little bit.
And we don't know what the status of Ava DuVernay's New Gods film is. Like, is that even happening
It's
anymore?
still, I think so. I think they're scripting it still.
Give it time.
I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I know that we're weeks away from it happening. I want to know if this cameo is included just because it's finally somebody that Zack wanted to include in his universe and now he's not going to get a chance to, or if it's potentially some type of I'm putting this in here because I have some plans up my sleeve and this is going to lead to someplace. So what about you, Hannah? What's your favorite pick off of this list?
I'm still in favor, like if I had to pick, of Carrie, Kelley,
Okay.
Black Canary, and you really sold me on this Thomas Wayne thing. I think that would be really cool.
Kind of sold myself on it. So you guys tell us who you think it is. Do you believe the IO9 article? Do you think it's something different? Are there any other ones that we might have missed that you guys think would be truly mind-blowing and somebody that Zack wants to get in? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you keep it here on CinemaBlend for all of your Snyder Cut needs. Hannah and I will be back every single week leading up to the release of the film. If you're here on YouTube, make sure you hit like and subscribe so that you can see our videos as soon as they drop. And we appreciate you guys hanging out and talking Snyder Cut with us.